Let's go to the biggie. Did anybody here see the movie, the Invention of Lying? It's a new movie that's out in the theaters. Okay, it's a very, really quick, the premise is that there's a world in which lying is not possible. It's like gravity. You can't lie. You can't say something that's not so. And this one man suddenly discovers lying, and he can manipulate the universe, right? Because everybody thinks what he says is true because it must be. So he invents the idea of a man in the sky who watches over us and tells everybody about it. And he invents religion, right? And so the premise is that religion is a lie in a way, right? That it's a way to manipulate and control people. And so we often have this image of God. My definition of God, and this is big, right? Is God is the source of that spirit. Right? We talked about touching into that thing. God is the source of that, the creator and sustainer, if you will. God is pure consciousness, also in a Buddhist sense. That what we have that connects us, that's non-physical, is consciousness, right? And that God is the ultimate reality, a very Platonic kind of idea about God. And there's a wonderful story that goes along with this, and it's told about a Hasidic rabbi, a 19th century mystical rabbi. And a man comes to him and he says, Rabbi, I just don't believe in God. I just don't believe in God. And the rabbi says, well, tell me about God. He says, well, I don't believe that there's some being hovering over us who's different than us, who gave us the commandments, and if we don't follow them, we're punished, and if we do, we're rewarded, and who separates us from other people, right, and is keeping track of everything we do. And he goes on and on. And the rabbi says, he says, I don't believe in the same God you don't believe in. That in other words, the God that you don't believe in is not the real thing, right? And that's kind of the idea behind this definition. We heard earlier in that piece that Fox did about prayer. She used prayer in a very interesting way. She said what we were doing was prayer. So prayer, to me, is the conscious practice to connect with spirit, right? It's what you do to connect with that in order to facilitate personal and communal transformation. So prayer is an act in which you communicate with spirit. Could be meditation, right? Traditionally, prayer has 3 different ways. There's praise, in which you praise for everything that we have, right? There's petition, in which you ask for stuff, and there's gratitude, in which you say thank you, right? That's the definition of prayer. I think faith is very interesting. We hear a lot about faith at work, spirit at work. We hear a lot about having faith and not having faith. This is my definition of faith, which is a little different. So if you read Richard Dawkins or Sam Harris or Hitchens, and they're these neo-atheists, they say that faith is the stubborn belief in that which isn't true, right? We hear that. Faith is, no, I want to believe that this is true, even though all the evidence to my senses says otherwise, right? That's not what faith is, theologically speaking. Faith is the individual interpretation of your personal experiences that creates an orientation towards life, addressing the big questions, right? It's how you enter into life. And in that way, we all have faith, right? And there's a wonderful book by a man named James Fowler called Stages of Faith. And he actually says faith grows in stages, right? So here's an example I would give. That you're sitting on the train and somebody steps on your toe. This is not, Fowler didn't do this, but this is my interpretation of it. You have a couple of responses to somebody stepping on your toe. One is, why are people so inconsiderate? I'm sitting here minding my own business and this idiot steps on my toe, right? How everybody is like this. That's one response. The other response is, well, it depends on how you feel that day. You're in a good mood, you don't react. You're in a bad mood, you react. That's another level, right? Another level is to look at who the person is. Is it an important businessman or is it a bum? If it's an important businessman, it's okay. If it's a bum, I'm going to be mad, right? The next level is to look at the whole situation rationally. What happened? How did it unfold? What's my role in it? And then the next level, and this is Fowlerian, is to say, this must happen for some kind of purpose, right? There must be something behind this that is allowing me to connect with this person who stepped on my toe, right? These are different layers of faith. So the big questions that faith seeks to answer is there a purpose to the universe? The answer can be no. The answer, oh, by the way, isn't this great? It's very, very existential. So when I do presentations, I show cartoons, so if you're not listening to me, you can enjoy the cartoons. So one question, is there a purpose to the universe, right? You can say no, it's all random, it's random mutation and selective adaptation, whatever, and there's no purpose. That's a faith statement, right? But it's a low level, according to me, all right? It's a low level faith statement. Is there a purpose to my life, right? Are there any absolute truths? Is there more to reality than physicality and perceptions? And do I have any obligations to myself and to other people? So faith seeks to address those things. And that way faith is not religion, faith is not doctrine, faith is not choosing to believe something somebody told you ought to believe. It's the unfolding of your experience and your interpretation of it, right? Because we all create our stories about how the world works based on what we experienced. And most of us think that the stories we created are true. This is simply how things are, right? But we know that that's not true for somebody else. Other people have different ways of interpreting what's happened to them. Right? So we create a story. And, well, I'll talk about the next thing. So the beliefs, when we have beliefs, again, beliefs are not a set of dogma. Beliefs are a set of chosen principles that spring from your faith. Right? So if your faith is the world is purposeful, we're here for a reason, we're guided, protected, nurtured, right? You're going to have a set of beliefs that spring from that. That says, okay, I can connect to that. I can grow through that. I can share that with other people. Or if your faith statement says the world's a random place, everybody's out for themselves, get yours before they get it from you, you're going to have a set of beliefs that go to that as well. And you can see I'm trying to make this not religious. So we can talk about religion. And I want to show you another clip, and I love this clip. Here we go. Okay.
Moses went to the mountain, and God spoke unto him.
Moses, this is the Lord thy God, commanding you to obey my law. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, I hear you. A deaf man can hear you.
What? Oh Lord, why have you chosen me? What would you have me do for you? I shall give you my laws, and you shall take them unto the people. Yes, Lord. Lord, I shall give these laws unto thy people. Hear me. Oh, hear me. All pay heed. The Lord Jehovah, has given unto you these 10 commandments for all to obey.
Okay, so I'm a rabbi and I find that very, very funny. And the reason I showed you that is we tend to take our religions much too seriously, right? So what I was trying to build for you as I went from spirit, right, to faith, to belief, to religion, is maybe a different way of looking at it than we often look at it. We often get that relationship upside down. We think that it starts with religion, that religion is some kind, and again, forgive me if I'm stepping on anybody's toes here, I'm saying from my perspective here, that we think religion is some kind of absolute truth that was given exactly as we've gotten it, right? And that everything in it is absolutely true. So we have religion, and then that becomes our beliefs, and that dictates our faith. And we tend to think it works that way, and we get upset with religion, I think, because of that. I'm proposing that it's the other way around, right? That we have faith principles that guide our life based on our experiences. Those lead to beliefs, and those are put into a pot we call religion. So people who have had very profound connections at a high faith level, right, bring that information down, they set it into the belief system, they put it in a pot that we call religion, and we use that to help guide ourselves. Right? When we get that upside down, I think is when we start to be divisive, when we start to become fundamentalist, and when we start to get in trouble. So I'm proposing a very different way of looking at that.